Hello everyone, this video is intended to give you a review and perhaps some new ideas on how to make achievement visible for your students. So you've been working on goals, writing assessments, and now you're in the process of collecting data. We'll get into more data analysis with a video and some review next week, but for now I want to remind you that the data you are collecting shouldn't just be kept to yourself. You want to make sure that you're sharing the data with your students. So if data collection is for more than just the teacher, we want to make sure that we're allowing students to participate in looking at their own data and reflecting on their progression towards class goals. Over the summer, Brandon, Lewis, and I attended a workshop about visible learners, and we learned various research-based strategies for improving student achievement. One of the most powerful and really easiest ways is documenting the learning process in a way that is meaningful to students and makes their progress visible and encourages them to frequently reflect on these three questions. Where am I going? How am I doing? And where to next? So as you're having students focus on those three questions, where am I going? How am I doing? And where to next? Providing a visual support to them is very helpful, especially since we're teaching boys. We want to give them some kind of visual to help them see their progress. Here you see a few different examples. The first one may look familiar to those of you who have friends that are elementary school teachers, and you might think to yourself, oh, that's a little too kiddie for me. Well, think of how you can alter that to make it fit in your classroom. The next example is one that I used in my classes when I was teaching Spanish last year, and then we see some examples of just a bunch of different ways to document individual and whole class progress. The most important thing about making learning and achievement visible to students is to really help them see their progress throughout the semester and also gives a why to what we're doing in class. So here, next, we are going to have an expert, Mr. Nick Cariotti, share what he does in his chemistry class to make learning visible to students.
My chemistry class revolves around two questions. What is this stuff, and what happens when I mix it together? These are kind of easy sells for our guys because when I send them back to the lab and they see all the chemicals laid out in front of them, it isn't 2 minutes before somebody goes, oh, Mr. Cariotti, what would happen if I mix this stuff all together? So those are our goals. And on the first day of class, I just show them a simple color change reaction where I take what looks like water, and I pour it into 4 different beakers. It looks like water, and then milk, and then juice, and then lemonade. And at that point in the semester, when they know no chemistry, it basically looks like magic to them. Later in the semester, one of my games that I like to play is I roll out a cart just full of a bunch of different bottles of chemicals, and we play, you balance it, I mix it. And so we'll just grab, lead nitrate, sodium hydroxide, and I say, all right, lead nitrate and sodium hydroxide, what happens when I mix it together? And the guys can balance the reaction, and they say, well, those two things don't react, or it's going to react, and it's going to form this precipitate. And once they have it balanced, then we mix it together, and we verify their predictions. It's one of my favorite lessons because at some point in the lesson I can stop and remind them of the first day of class and how mysterious it seemed at the time, and say, you guys have been working for a long time. Isn't it cool that you're actually sitting here with this power over nature to be able to predict what happens when I mix this together? And so at that moment, when they're seeing their reactions come true, I think learning has become very visible for them.
Finally, as you find small ways to be intentional with your practice of making learning visible to students, keep in mind that teacher clarity is an important piece of students effectively determining their own growth. So make sure that you are sharing expectations and ensuring that they are understood. Also, you want to make sure that you're communicating to students why they are learning the material, so including that why piece into your objectives every day. And you want to make sure that you're sharing the rubrics, measurements, and also giving exemplars to help students know where they are headed.